Hi guys, and welcome to another one of my videos. Today I've got something very special to show you. This is my very own Lemmings ROM hack on the Sega Master System, and it's now possible to make and create your own levels and code them in the ROM and play them on real hardware and release it to the public. It's all thanks to a very wonderful user in our community called Squidgy. Squidgy has created this SMS level editor, and it lets you create your own levels. It's incredible. So that's first and foremost. That's what I want to say. That's what makes this ROM hack possible, is Squidgy and his level editor. So I'll just put the game on now, and I'll show you some levels and talk about it. So here we got, this is, first and foremost, this is already modified by Squidgy. He's gotten rid of the text on the bottom. It's the first thing you'll notice. And instead of 4 ratings now, we have 8. So there's 8. We have fun, tricky, taxing, mayhem. Then we have extra 1, extra 2, extra 3, extra 4. Now, I've already gone and made about 40 plus levels myself. So it's in extra 1, which I've renamed this new smooth rating. Doesn't say it here because this is I haven't updated. This is a version 101 build. I've only released version 1.0 on ROM Hack Plaza, but I'm yet to do this one, so that's why it still says bonus 1. But yeah, like, these are all my levels. Like, it's really good ROM hack. It's, yeah, so you've got like fun, tricky, taxi, mayhem. You've still got all the original levels with the Sega levels, the exclusive ones, and then you've got bonus 1, 2, 3, 4, or extra 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see here, like bonus 1, it's all my levels. Like, these are all mine, and you can just scroll through them. You don't need passwords anymore. You don't need the cheat on the title screen. You can change rating by just pressing up or down. See, I can go to fun, tricky, taxing, mayhem. So I made all these levels in the editor, and I've been testing them like you wouldn't believe. Like, I've been play testing them over and over and over. I'm trying to find inconsistencies. When I find something wrong, I go and edit it and fix it up. And so all these are mine. They're all pretty much mine. I have recreated a few from other Lemmings games, most particularly Lemmings 2, The Tribes, only because I have a little bit of experience with that one, like Lemtress here. So this is what this level looks like. This is a recreation level. I did this in the editor. It looks a lot like the original version in Lemmings 2, The Tribes, just with a few differences. And so I tried to keep the same skill set. I think it's a 90% percentage level. I know in the original game they didn't have any percentage in that level, so you know, if you lost a lemming, you lost it for the rest of the tribe. So I just had to sort of alter it slightly. But yeah, these are all mine. I made my first Sega level here called Mr. Lemming's Bathroom. It's a nice looking one. Lots of water. I even put the Master System, what do you call them, initials there. Put my initials there, AG. Very easy level, this one. I've got lots to show you. Yeah, there's all these great levels. So I kept making all these levels, right? And yeah, barbecue at Lemmy Kilmister's. And yeah, I've just been. These are all my own. Most of them are my own idea, like my own ideas. I've just been hooked on it. So I haven't been very active lately in my usual internet circles because I've been on this editor all the time. I just love it. And the SMS version of Lemmings is a game I grew up with. Like, most of them are my own idea, my own creations, but when I was found that when I was running low on ideas, I would try some different ideas. Like here, this level's called the Twilight Zone, but when you look at it, it's actually a map of a pre-existing level. All I did was change the entrance and the exit in different places. So the entrance is usually there, and the exit is usually there. So I thought, well, what if we went the other way? What would that be like, you know? I just tried it for one level, just to see what it was like. That was one idea. There was another idea where I took the same level of a pre-existing level, like this one, Smile If You Love Lemmings. I just changed the title there slightly, and it's no longer a sand pillar one. It's a red fire looking level. So yeah, I just thought I'll just change the tile set of a pre-existing level just to see what that's like. I did it again here with feels like deja vu again. As you can see, this one, it's the ascending pillar scenario, or been there, seen it, done it. I just changed the tile set. But those two levels I just showed you are the only two that are like that. It's not a continuing thing. It was just something different. Or there is Stairway to Heaven. I suppose that one's another one where I just changed the tile set. But I swear they're the only three. Then we got like Over the Hills and Far Away. It's my first grass one. It's quite a big level. Just hopscotching across the islands, building bridges, and you're pretty much there. I had to be careful with making some of these levels because I made about 5 levels that are really, really big, and the Sega Master System version of Lemmings is very limited with VRAM, and Lemmings is known to be notorious for triggering the VRAM limitation. What that is like basically what the Sega Master System's only got, is it 8 or 16 kilobytes of RAM? And what happens in these large levels, like this is a really big level I made. It doesn't look like it, but those hot ash rocks, they take up a lot of tiles. And so does the fire along the bottom. So it looks kind of plain, but I originally had this decorated with a lot of stuff in it, but it was clashing with the building and the bashing. So what happens is the more terrain you build in the level, basically the less is left over, the less room is left over for building and bashing and digging and mining. And when the VRAM runs out of memory runs out of tile space, basically, the lemmings just stop building and stop bashing, and you have to blow them up and do it again. And this kept happening, and this happened with this level in particular. This was one of them. So I had to scale back. I had to cut a lot of scenery out to make it playable. And I've been testing this for days and days on end and trying to do it slightly in different ways to try and trigger the VRAM limitation, but thankfully it hasn't happened. So I've been playing pretty wastefully. Like, what you do in this level is, you know, you get them out of there, or you get one out of there. You start building your bridges here. Don't do it right from the edge. If you do it right from the edge, he's going to hit here and he's going to turn around and he's going to come back here. Now, it's alright if you build a bridge here. You can build a bridge here on the steel plate, or you can build a bridge underneath here to turn him around. That's okay. But by doing that, it uses up a little bit more tile space in the VRAM. Whereas if you build a bridge right from here, he'll come out about here and he won't have to turn back. So you save a little bit of space. You see where I'm going with this? And then you can bash there, or it's probably better that you bash and then mine, come down a little bit with a miner, and then build your bridges up, because if you go too high you might hit the ceiling there. Then you come here, bash through that rock, you mine a little bit down here, so he'll land on this steel plate. You won't fall on, they won't fall and go splat. Build a bridge there, build another zigzag your bridges up here, and then you build your last two bridges there, and you should just have enough VRAM to complete the level. So there's just enough memory to get through the level. I'm just saying that if you waste bridges and if you dig tunnels where you don't really have to, you might trigger the VRAM limitation. You know, you might suddenly see that he'll stop bashing and turn around, and they'll stop digging, they'll stop building bridges. It's just, you know, it's the master system. VRAM is to blame for that. It's not actually the game. Another level where that happened was, I think, was at level 2? Cleopatra's house. This was another one that was triggering the VRAM, because I put a lot of scenery in, see? It's an easy level. It's just you bash a bit, and then you start building bridges here across the water, so you get there. Pretty easy. So the way I do this level is I get a climber, bash through these two pillars, I mine a little bit down here, build a bridge up there, he'll turn around, I let him turn around, I don't build a bridge underneath these pillars, because if I build a bridge underneath these pillars to quickly turn him back around, then I don't have enough, there's not enough memory left to mine down here if you want to. You don't have to. There's a climbing and a floater option, but I like to mine down here so they can just walk up. It's just the way it is. This one's very tight on memory. You can get through it. I'm just saying that when he hits his head and he turns around, he's going to walk all the way back here, go there. You're best to do that than to make him build a bridge. Because if you build a bridge, you're just that little bit more limited with tiles and the VRAM. I've put steel plates here to deter the player from bashing through here. Because if you bash through these bricks and then don't build a bridge and then decide to bash through there, and then you decide to go build another tunnel by bashing through that pillar, you're not going to have enough VRAM to build the bridges at the end here, see? You see where I'm going with this? It's a level that's a little bit tight on VRAM, but it's completable. You can get through it. I'm just saying, if you waste bridges and you waste bashing, you know, where you're not supposed to, you might trigger the VRAM, like in the last level. You just bash there, build, bash, bash, bash there, and then you start building bridges, and it's fine. There's enough of that. I just thought I'd mention it. because it can become a bit of a problem. This was an issue in the original game, by the way. It happened in some of the original levels, like Sega 4. I think Lemming drops, and it's repeat, have a nice day in Mayhem. I'll show you, while I'm on the subject, I'll show you something on that. Okay, let's go back to the original levels. Fun. Level 8, not as complicated as it looks. What I'm saying is true, because if you look at this level, it looks pretty simplistic, doesn't it? But without you even realizing it, the level uses up the entire map. See, look at all this stuff here. It's just for decoration. Like, you can't go there. There's no point in going there. There's no incentive to go there because the exit's not there. And if you go on this side, they did the same thing. They decorated it with all this stuff. And that uses up a lot of VRAM. But you know why they decorated it a lot? Is because they know you're not going to go there. You're not going to go and bash through here, build bridges up here, and to be honest, you're not even going to make it all the way over here. It's going to run out of memory by the time you get halfway, because there's too much terrain on screen. They did it because they know that you've only got to concentrate on this section here, where it's plain. And the other one that does that is, well, that went glitchy then. Smile if you love lemmings. This is another one where they decorated it a lot on the sides because they know you're not going to go there. You don't have to go there. You're not going to have to do a lot of building and bashing. So levels where it's usually a big map and there's lots of, you know, scenery to decorate. It's usually something simple like in the center here that you've got to concentrate on. So you're not going to trigger in the VRAM limitation. So I just thought I'd point that out. But back to my levels. Yeah. So these are all my levels. If you want to play these, I've already put them up on ROM Hack Plaza. There's a patch there you can download. You just patch this to the original Lemmings SMS ROM and you can play these. I haven't finished the ROM hack. I have done one whole rating myself, the smooth rating, which is bonus 1 here. I just haven't changed the name. Rating 2 is got not only some of my levels, but it's got some of Squidgy's levels and some levels that he's recreated himself, like this one, Oh Hey-Oh Lemming-san. I think that's from the Super Nintendo port. Really good one. Look at that. So you got some original levels here in this ROM hack as well that were not done by me, but were done by Squidgy, the level editor creator. So we've got cut levels from the Master System version where the Sega levels went in their place. They're also here, like the Great Lemming Caper, the Far Side, and then there were 4 Save Me, which is a really good, nice looking level, this one. They're all here. They're not in the Mayhem slot because of the Sega levels, but I've put them amongst some of my levels here. So this is in the funky rating. So these are some of Squidgy's levels. Cascades, got some original ones, some mixed ones. Sega 6, Sega 7, Sega 8. As you saw, there was all the 5s. There's another one called all the 7s. These are not my levels. These ones, I think from 17 onwards, these are mine. Yeah, these are all my levels. Then you've got some original ones. And you got some of mine again. Cold winter's day. Yeah, so there's lots of stuff to check out here. I won't go on about it for too long, guys. I've already uploaded the ROM hack for you to check out, as well as a link to the editor. So if you want to create your own levels, like I did, you don't need to know any Z80, Zilog Z80 extensive coding. You can just make an account on the editor and off you go. You can start printing blocks and things on the map, and when you're done you can assemble the level into the ROM. The editor does it for you. So if I can do it, you can do it, because I know virtually nothing about ROM hacking. All I can do is really tiny basic things like fixing ROM headers and changing text in hex editing. That's all I can do. So I've called the Lemmings Fire Brigade. This is one of my levels. Basically, there's a building on fire. We got one side there. Lemmings, they need to be saved by the other side. There's another trapdoor here. So this side needs to rescue the other side. So you have to build another big long stairway up there, and then get to the exit there in the middle. I will say that with my levels that I've created, they're not super hard by any means. They're not like the tutorial fun levels like Just Dig. They're not, ridiculously easy, but they're not excruciatingly hard as well. I tried to aim for the medium setting, somewhere around tricky taxing sort of stuff. And I try to make my levels long. I like really long levels where you got to do a lot of building and bashing. There's quite a few of those. Like I talked about before about how they can just be beatable under the VRAM limitation. Like that one, Cleopatra's House. Surprisingly, this one's a large level, but it doesn't trigger the VRAM at all. Well, there's a fair bit of decorating I did. This one doesn't have that problem. Never once did this one have to be changed or altered. Did I have to cut something back because, the level runs out of memory or anything? So I try to keep my levels, not too hard. Sort of, I like them to be like, you look at the map and you take a moment to work it out, and then you put it in practice and you can do it. That's how I like it. I don't like them really hard, because I know what it's like when I've been there, I've done that. Like literally, I've been stuck on a level for hours, and then you're stuck on it for days, then you're stuck on it for weeks. I've had that happen to me in Lemmings before, and I don't want that to happen again. Having to listen to the same tune all the time, it's annoying. So, I did make some short levels like that one, Let It Rip. I think there's another one here. Where is the other one? Memoirs of a Lemming Athlete. This is a really tricky sort of level that I came up with. It's not a really large map, but it's one where you've really got to look at it and think. I threw some, cheeky harder ones in there every now and then. So you get to every 10 or 15, there's a, or level 16, that's probably the first one that's really going to stump you. And you get some easy ones again. The Block Strait of Hormuz. I got the idea for this level because I keep hearing in the news about what's going on in the world, and I thought I'm going to use that and put it in a title and make a level out of it. So that's what I did. So basically you got the water, the shipping lane here, and it's blocked by this, you know, plate, all these plates of steel. You know, this row of plate of steels is blocking it, and you've only got this one brick you've got to bash through, and then you've got to build bridges to get to the other side. So yeah, it's nothing political, it's just, I just used the name. I thought, well, I could make a level out of that, so that's what I did. It's not a hard level. You don't have to worry, I don't put any, in my level titles, when I'm naming a level, I don't put anything political. Like, I'm not going to mention Donald Trump or Keir Starmer or dickhead Prime Minister we got here, Anthony Albanese. I'm not going to mention politicians or anything, I'm not that stupid. And after that we got a level called Prince of Persia. So yeah, well this one's another little bit of a head scratcher. I tried to make it like the game, where like, it's just one lemming in this level, where, you know, because Prince of Persia, I'm thinking like he's athletic, you've got to leap over things and that, and I thought, well, why don't I make a level out of it? So that's what I did. You bash, you build, you climb, dig tunnels, and you get to the exit down the bottom. So that's what I did. I try to, in my level titles, I try to reference British humour, like what the original developers did with the original game. So I've got, yeah, like I'm referencing all these, you know, British comedy sitcoms like Keeping Up Appearances, you know, The Bucket Woman, and I think there's another one where I referenced Mr. Bean. Where's Mr. Bean? There's one called Mr. Bean Lives Here. There you go, Mr. Bean Lives Here. It looks like the kind of place Mr. Bean would live in, doesn't it? Well, that's a bit of a head scratcher too, that level. And yeah, so I try and keep the original humour. So I mentioned stuff like Mr. Bean and Faulty Towers and fictional characters too. I actually made a level where, yeah, look at this one, looks like a barbecue. I made this look something like chicken skewers, like a barbecue grill. And then you got a sausage there. So you got to quickly dig down to the bottom, then you got to blow your way through this hot ash rock, and that's it. Then you get to the exit. You got to come up with good level names, level titles. So that's what I did there. Yeah, I actually made a level. I called it Tribute to Patty Page. If you don't know who Patty Page was, she was the original singer that sang How Much Is That Doggy in the Window, and that's the music that plays on this level. Well, duh. So I thought, well, not doggy in the window, but lemmings in the window. So we've got sort of like a windowsill type of thing here. And you just got to build bridges, get to the exit. Yeah, just an idea I came up with. what else is there? Open Sesame. This level, it's a real mineshaft level. You can see you've got to get through this mineshaft here and come out the other end. But you've only got one basher. So what you do is you bash through there. Then you have to block and blow your way through these rocks. Just like a mine shaft. I sort of got the idea from the steel mines of Kessel, but I didn't want to make one as infuriating as that one. So I sort of came up with my own and just made it a little bit easier. I'm not a big fan of blocking and blowing levels, but I figured that I had to make one at some point because I can't just keep making building and bashing levels all the time. This one is actually a recreation from Lemmings to the Tribes. So it's from Lemmings to the Tribes. I believe the original was called Mr. Lemmy Lives Next Door, but I didn't like the title, so I just changed it to, you know, Hyacinth Bouquet Lives Next Door, or Hyacinth Bucket Lives Next Door. Just thought I'd reference somebody else and make it a little bit more funny. Lemmy Kilmister was actually a real person. This is the level where it's got the big Pugsy word in it. Kind of looks like a barbecue too, doesn't it? Looks like a grill. Looks like a bikey barbecue sort of thing. Lemmy, maybe you know, maybe you don't know. Lemmy Kilmister was the bass player and frontman, the singer. He was also the singer in the metal band Motorhead. Now, I never got into Motorhead because I don't like Lemmy's voice, but I know of them. I know he was the singer and the frontman of that band. Sadly, he died now. I think he died in 2016. But just something I came up with, like with puns. I thought, well, I'll put his name in the title there, and I also reference Pugsy because it plays the Pugsy music on the level. So yeah, but I think I'm waffling on a bit here. I might try and stop this. Like, this video's gone on long enough. You get the gist of it, guys. What more can I say? If you want to check out the game, you can I'll put the link in the description. You can check out the ROM hack patch if you want to play my levels. They're not super hard. They're not super easy. They're just, you know, Squidgy's levels, like some of Squidgy's levels are in here as well. Like Sega 8, Sega 7, Sega 6, they're his levels. I just added them in. Dangerous Balcony, that's his. Flow Control, that's his. Is That Lemming Licensed is his, and then you got some original ones that were cut from the original Master System Lemmings that I've just added here. You know, like the Great Lemming Caper. Yeah. So I'll put the link in the description. To the ROM hack. I'll also put the link to the editor. So if anybody wants to give the editor a go, you know, go for it. I mean, it's pretty easy to use, but keep that VRAM, 8 kilobyte VRAM limitation on when playing it on original SMS in mind when you make levels. Do test your levels on an emulator, on a Master System emulator, when you finish making a level, because you need to know if you can get to the exit or not. You know, if you can't get to the exit, if the VRAM kicks in and the level runs out of memory, you're going to have to scale some of the scenery back and edit it, and you know, you find out what works for you. But that's if you make big levels. So really, if you're going to make big levels, you can't put a lot of scenery in. If you're going to put a lot of scenery, then you can't do a lot of bashing and building. If you want to do a lot of bashing and building, scale back on the scenery. That's basically what it is. You know, you got your chocolate box levels, you know, where you just concentrate on the center of the map, and then you got ones where, like I make, where, well, the ones I like to make, but I didn't make too many because of the issue. But yeah, you can make them, you know, fill up the whole map with tons of stuff. So I think I've mentioned everything I had to mention and talk about. That's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I've talked about the VRAM, I've talked about my levels, I'm just going over my notes and the editor itself. Yeah, I'll put the link to the editor, so if you want to give the editor a go, you got to set up an account on the editor. It's easy. It's not a username and a password or anything like that. It just gives you a key. Every user gets their own, like, MLM key, and you just keep that when you want to log back in. And you've got like an inventory, like a level browser. Each account has their own level browser where you've got all the original levels, plus you've got the 4 extra slots, extra 1, 2 and 3, like you can see here. You know, that's all there, and you can make levels and slot them in there, and you can assemble you can link and assemble the levels into a ROM hack patch. You can download it as an IPS patch, or you can download it as a modded SMS ROM file too. So yeah. Oh, and before I go, I will keep the ROM hack isn't finished. I'm only done about 40 levels, but you can play what's there. As I keep adding more levels, I'll keep updating the ROM hack patch on ROM hack Plaza, and you know, so there'll be more levels to play. But it's not like me to release unfinished work. I usually like to wait till I finish a ROM hack and then release it, because I don't like the idea of, you know, every time you add something, then you've got to go and update it again and update it again and update it again. Next thing you know, you're up to version 1.30. But I think in this case with Lemmings, I don't think it's a big issue. I think with this game, I can just update it as I go, and you can just play what's there. I mean, it's not like I've just put 2 or 3 levels in and that's all I've done. There's a good 40 there, and plus you've got levels made by Squidgy, and you've got all the original levels that were cut from the game originally are in here, recreations, you know, like I showed you. And you've got that Ohio Lemming sign, that's the Super Nintendo level. Squidgy made that one. Yeah, that's it. I'll keep updating it. I'll put the links in the description. So yeah, if you want to know why I haven't been very active lately on YouTube or anything, or uploading many videos, it's because of this damn editor. Alright guys, I'll catch you later. Bye now.